Hello and welcome. This is a chat to the professional, the show that has been designed to x-ray the activities of professional individuals and corporate bodies. My name, as always, Martin Ubu, and I'm sure glad to be with you. Today we are going to be having another Nigerian professional based in the United States of America. Dr. Maurice Ngwaba is an architect, a planner, and the vice president at the University of Maryland in the United States of America. This interview we had with him some time ago in Washington, D.C. Is what we shall be showing you today. We shall be discussing infrastructural development and indeed what the government can do to ensure that our infrastructures, especially the roads, are better maintained. So don't go anywhere. We are going to take a short break, and by the time I come back, our special interview segment comes on. Please stay. Alright viewers, you're still watching a chat to the professional, the show designed to x-ray the activities of professional individuals and corporate bodies. Like I mentioned to you in my introduction, today we are going to have a guest, or rather we already have a guest in the studio who holds PhD in organizational leadership, and he practices in the United States of America. I'm going to allow him get into specifics to explain to us what organizational leadership is all about, because I'm not aware of any course like that down home here in Nigeria. So, Dr. Maurice Ngwaba, it's my pleasure to have you on the show. All right. Now, I'm going to start from asking you what organizational leadership is all about. Like I said, I'm not aware of any course like that in Nigeria. But could you explain to us what that entails?
Organizational leadership puts emphasis on overall leadership qualities and strategies for running organizations and institutions. And with respect to my research, I focus essentially in planning, design, and construction. Yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. But however, the planning, design, and construction industry is a very good field.
You also are a lecturer. I'm aware you work in the university, as well as having your own organization known as Dr Maurice and Associates Incorporated.
Yes, sir.
Could you throw a bit more light into what these organizations do? I know why I'm asking that question, because I'm going to be hard on you after that.
Thank you, sir. As a matter of fact, in the last 21 years, I've been working at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I started off as a planner, but right now I'm an assistant to the vice president, which is like an assistant vice chancellor for administration, university administration, and also for facilities. And within the context of facilities, I'm in charge of all the capital budget process. I'm in charge of planning, conducting master planning process for the university, making sure that we plan all the facilities, design them, construct them, and bring them for occupancy, and ensure too that within the operation side that those facilities are operating in the best state. Then with respect to Dr. Maurice and Associates, that's a consulting firm I founded in about 16 years ago.
And what do you do there?
We practice general architecture, planning, and also technology management.
Are you an architect also by training?
Yes, I'm a registered architect, I'm a registered planner, I'm a registered specification writer.
You alone?
Me alone.
I asked that question because back home, one of the greatest challenges we are facing outside power is in the area of road management and construction. Now, we've had roads that were built several years back and they lack maintenance, and over the years they have so much dilapidated that they are impassable. The reason why I asked you that question is because I know that our people in the diaspora, all they do is complain, and I'm here to see any action. So if I ask you, as a practitioner, with your resume, all you've realized that you've done in the United States of America, what would you be telling the Nigerian government to ensure that we have better infrastructure, with particular emphasis on our roads?
Yes, Mr. Obu, you're really putting me on the spot because you don't advise governments in public. But however, I do believe that back home, with respect to road maintenance, I think that in Nigeria we are not really very serious about about a maintenance culture that works.
Okay.
I do recollect back in the early 60s, late 60s actually, and early 70s, as a boy growing up, we had the P&T and the PWDs along the roads that maintain roads and the telegraph systems.
Yeah.
But in recent times, since 1980 or even 84 when I left Nigeria, I don't get to see any of those departments. Those departments are very relevant in sustaining and maintaining infrastructure that are built. Mm. Secondly, another thing that's happening here is I don't think that within the governments in all the three tiers, the local government, the state government, and the federal government, that they are actually making enough funds allocation for facility renewal. Okay. Here in the United States, we work within a range of 0 to 5% of the value of that infrastructure for an annual maintenance. Yeah. So if those monies are allocated, on a practical level, when things are tight, like right now in the US, it's like about 2% per annum. The value of that infrastructure is used in making sure that those facilities are maintained.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. As they say in Nigeria, "Koniman die, Koniman bury." You heard him say you don't advise government in public. I can assure you, I know where he's heading to. He's asking for consultancy to be able to do that. But in any case, the Nigeria is for all of us, and we are going to take a break. The reason why I am placing him on the hot spot is because I hate it when Nigerians in the diaspora, all they do is complain about what is not right and what is wrong with our system without they are contributing their own quota to the development of our nation. They are great pillars in the countries where they are. From what he said, you could see he's a pillar in the United States, handling something close, or rather, you said slightly above.
I've done at least above $500 million.
$500 million of work that he has done in the United States of America. That tells you his achievements. But we're going to take a break. By the time we come back, I will find out from him how he intends to achieve what we are talking about. Whether he's going to stay in the United States and effect those positive changes, well, that will be after the break. But please stay, don't go away. We'll be right back. You're still watching HR to the Professional, and you're welcome back from that short break. With me in discussing on HR to the Professional today remains Dr. Maurice Ngwaba, whom I told you holds PhD in organizational leadership. He is a registered architect, like he said. He is a registered planner, and so on and so forth. Dr. Ngwaba, before we went on break, I said I was going to place you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
The question is, with all that you have said, how are you going to affect those positive changes staying here in the United States?
We do believe, some of us here, including me, we do believe that as the Nigerian government, such as you've just done, you've just invited me to Nigeria. And I come to Nigeria, but nobody has ever really invited me to Nigeria. You just did. So when most of us are introduced to Nigeria, we will have opportunity to work with our colleagues, or even with governments, in making sure that we can contribute by providing some kind of advice to them as to how best we can at how best we can maneuver the journey. Like I give the government of Rivers State a great credit. A friend of mine, Chima Uche, has just been hired to be the general manager of Rainbow Town Development. Okay. And we're praying that he does a good job, because that will open up more avenues for some of us to actually do some kind of transfer back to Nigeria, doing things.
Well, I also know that Professor Bath Nnaji, who we all know as a robotic engineer, yes. Someone who has made giant strides in the United States, is also back home at the moment assisting the government to revive our power system. That's why I asked that question. But I'm going to ask you now, as a planner, what would be your take on the network of roads in Nigeria? Secondly, why must we concentrate on road transportation? What can we do to achieve effective transportation? Because like I said, outside power, the next on the list in terms of infrastructure is the roads. How can we ensure that my mother in the village, for instance, could come out with her farm produce and be able to transport that to the city?
Thank you, Mr. Ma. You've asked a lot of questions, but I will start with the issue of planning. I think for your mother in the rural area, for her to come to the city, there has to be an effective planning process in the local government areas. At the same time, there should be an effective planning process in the state level, or even the regional level, just like you have in the Niger Delta, all the way down to the National Planning Commission. So I would suggest that it be mandated within the whole 774, I guess, local government areas in Nigeria, that there should be a plan. Let's say that the National Planning Commission creates a template, assuming since not everybody is so knowledgeable in these specific matters. I wouldn't assume that the local government chairman knows planning per se, or in its entirety. He might know how to govern, but there are some technical requirements in some of these fields. So I would believe that if we develop a planning template for these local government areas, train the staff, then in this plan, these plans will contain the goals and objectives of each local government area. What's important for the people, because the local government itself is the foundation of governance for people. They are closest to the people in the rural areas. They are the people that are supposed to help them bring their produce to the city. They are supposed to be the people that should provide for health care, community centers, small public libraries, small schools. These are the kind of things that the local government plan can articulate. And then once these are articulated with a cost estimate, people knowing predictably what it should cost, then timelines should be placed using historical figures or historical data from the National Allocation Fund that goes to these local government areas. So when recurrent budgets are taken out of that allocation, instead of just the whole money becoming allocations, those other monies that should be used for capital projects will then become appropriations targeted to those things that are important to the people in the rural areas. That is the foundation of planning, that's the foundation of development, and it will draw sustainability all the way up to our vision.
Thank you. You just published a book. What is the book about?
The book is actually a combination of a research. The research is focusing on major constraints in planning, design, and construction. And actually, there are 4 categories of problems in any project, as this book articulates. This book looks into the policy regulative problems that affect project processes. It looks at environmental problems that affect project processes. It looks at organizational specific problems, and then the project specific issues. So this particular book looks at ways organizations, leaders, educators, people who are involved in capital project development process can reduce the impact. Because when you delay a project, it has an overriding effect on the people. At the same time, it increases in cost. There is delay. Then, for example, even let's say you are given an award of a contract to build a road, and you drop a boulder on the road without protecting it. People kill themselves. Those companies should be held responsible. So there has to be a sense of responsibility within Nigeria, among Nigerians, and in Nigeria. And all of us, the book is called Major Constraints in Planning, Design, and Construction.
Is it an academic book?
It is an academic book.
Is it meant for practitioners?
It is meant for practitioners too, because it has relevant information. First of all, you see a theoretical framework that looks at the behavior of organizations. Yeah. And then after that, then you see the types of constraints that are available that can affect any project process. Then it goes on to give you the effects of these constraints. And it goes on to make recommendations to practicing architects, engineers, designers, and administrators on how to reduce the impacts of their decision-making processes that affect project adversely.
Now, who should own this book?
I believe the professor should own this book. This book should be used in teaching construction.
A professor of what?
A professor of engineering, a professor of planning, design and construction. This book should be owned by local government chairmen, should be owned by governors, because they are all involved in budget cycles. Regional planners, architects, construction workers, including both foreign and local expatriates and people across the world. Right now it's published in 5 languages.
5 languages?
It's published in Germany.
Now, so do you have it in Nigeria yet?
It's available on Amazon.com. It's just published about 2 weeks ago.
On the net?
It's published here on the net. It's on Amazon.com.
I see. Well, what more can I say? It's been wonderful speaking with Dr. Maurice Ngwaba, who is an authority in the subject matter. I'm going to leave it there. When last did you visit Nigeria?
I visited Nigeria in December, came back January, went back in April, came back in May.
Now, you frequent Nigeria?
Yes.
I'm going to decorate you with the Nigerian flag, courtesy of the Federal Ministry of Information and Communications. And I'd like you to wear this wherever you go in the United States to identify yourself as a Nigerian. As we say, Nigerians, we are indeed good people. We are a great nation. So it's my pleasure having you on the show, A Chat to the Professional. This is a professional handshake, which is a tradition on the show. And we do that to make the younger ones salivate. If you want to have this, you've got to be a practitioner. You have to be professional so we can have you here. So my pleasure once again having you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir. And I have something for you too.
Oh, great.
I'm giving you 2 pens, one for you and one for your colleagues, from the Office of the President of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, viewers, don't go nowhere. A Chat to the Professional returns after this break to wrap up.